I've got Nils from LRN2DIY here with me in my garage.
If you're into DIY at all, there comes a time when you're like, boy, I kind of need to weld something. And Jeff has helped me really go from 0 to, I don't know, whatever number, but to fairly competent, which is fantastic. I feel like I can actually do stuff now.
Let's dive into your very first weld that you did.
Just going for a line. So now let's try this again. I can already see.
Nice!
So that's, you know, not the best.
First weld down, and I'd have to say, yes, I did see some beginner mistakes, but overall, there were some things you actually did right. And the first thing right off the bat is, well, you brought an auto darkening helmet. Now, believe it or not, you actually kind of want to see your weld when you're actually welding. And most people, they use that little face shield. Sometimes those come with just a little tiny fixed shade lens.
This one did, yep, the little pull down thing.
Oh man, yep. If you've seen my other videos, you know, just forget about that. An auto darkening helmet is where it's at. You don't need to go expensive. You don't have to spend a bunch to see your welds. Second on the list that Nils brought was gloves.
So I've got these gloves that I bought. So by the way, I bought everything one day. This was like 5 years ago. I bought all this stuff at Harbor Freight and didn't spend all that much. But I also am really stupid. I just realized, and I'm wearing short sleeves to a welding training. So I assume that's bad.
Actually twofold. Most people don't know this. You got the first aspect of that welding throws out spatter. The second point is welding actually throws out UV rays. And I had a buddy that was welding all day long, and he came into work and he was sunburnt like crazy on his arms. I seriously
had no idea. Do people take advantage of that for, you know,
I guess that's the way. Skip the tanning bed and go straight to welding.
Yeah. I'm not a tanning bed person, as everybody can see, but okay, you've got the flannel, the heavy duty stuff going on here.
All right, so for many years I started out just with a long sleeve shirt. The next would be a fire resistant jacket. This is actually really good for summer or if you're in a higher temperature climate. The best overall would be an actual leather jacket. Obviously there's a downside. You're wearing a leather jacket, it can get really toasty, so unless you have good ventilation or you're outside. I typically don't weld this because I don't have a nice expensive AC unit in here, so I usually stick with just a fire resistant jacket. Works great for all my projects.
Okay. I feel like a little kid wearing this jacket and the gloves.
Now on to some of those key golden mistakes that really every beginner makes.
All right, so can I tell you what I think I'm seeing here? I think I need to work on my speed, I'm guessing, to help it pool up a little bit. Like I've got a whole spot here where it's just kind of missing. Tell me what boy, there's a lot of spatter here too. Tell me what you're seeing.
First off, spatter is not an issue.
Okay.
Guarantee you're going to get that with Flux core. You nailed it with speed. That is a little too fast, but the biggest thing would be actually those settings.
Okay, so walk me through this. I don't even know. Basically, I've got min, max, and feed rate, right? Wire feed speed.
Yep.
That's all I've got to work with. So how do I know what to do when?
So the greatest thing about every welder I've had, except for some really cheap, crazy Chinese ones, they all come with suggested settings.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen those. I ignore them because I'm a guy, but yeah. Oh, it says right in here, 1/8 inch is one of them. So then it says I do need to be on max, and then recommended wire speed of 8. That's it.
And so your settings being down at min and down at 4, just a lot. Settings just way too low.
Okay, so if I go to 8 and max, same thing, and slow it down.
Slow it down.
Okay.
And then you were standing up, so I would actually stay seated.
Okay.
Try to use your arms kind of as a guide on how you're going.
Yep.
And then I'll give you some more tips after that.
Okay, here we go. Coupon. Okay. That's better. Welding or no? Come on, dude.
You gave it.
We're filming here. Yeah.
Just changing those settings alone made a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first thing that I saw was you still are going a little too fast.
Still too fast. Okay.
And you can kind of tell it's just a small weld. We're not going to clean this one up yet just because I'll give Nils just a couple more tips. We'll do another one, and I think you'll be just about there.
Okay. What should I be seeing here? I didn't know what I'm supposed to be looking at, so I saw basically a glow at the end where it made contact, and that's it. I don't know, like what. So what do I need to be looking for?
First off, you'll want to be looking at the weld puddle. Not the weld, but the weld puddle, and I say that because it actually is still a molten piece of metal.
Yeah.
It's a puddle. If it's small like this, you'll know, hey, I got to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
If it's starting to get too deep into the parent material and starting to burn through, well, that's an issue. You know that you're probably either going too slow or your settings are too high too.
Okay.
So if you're starting to burn through, then you want to turn down the settings and or go faster.
Okay.
Second or third, don't know what point we're on. What settings is your hood at?
So what is this? This is, I've got 9 through 13.
Welding hoods or masks, they go off of what's called a shade rating. It's how dark the shade is.
Oh, okay.
Higher the number, a darker the shade. With settings really low, you're not putting that much amperage or that much heat into it, so you don't get that bright of a light.
And so I probably thought like the darker the better, so I don't hurt my eyes, and that's that. Okay.
That actually is a good point. Now, you don't want to just pick up a machine and just go with the lightest setting. I actually would suggest starting with a darker setting.
Makes sense.
And if you can't see, obviously, then just stop, turn it down a little bit, and then keep going.
Yep.
I've put out a couple videos about this. Do not use this. It came with your machine.
At all?
Don't use it at all.
Okay.
This is what you would consider a MIG nozzle. Well, guess what? You know, this is inner shielded or flux core. We don't have gas.
And I imagine using it like this, I feel like, oh, I can see the whole thing now. So, yeah.
And that's what you want to do when you're first learning. You want to actually be able to see the tip, the end. As a side note, the titanium flux core nozzle does fit on the Chicago Electric 125. I'll bring up a whole nother point right here. Stick out. It's the amount of wire sticking out.
Okay.
Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
Sticking out from your contact tip. You want that to be about 1/2 inch.
Anything else?
There is a correct angle. You have a weld angle and a workpiece angle. You're going to want to go straight down at a 90. So you got a 90 and then clock it back 10 to 15.
Okay.
And you're actually going to want to drag. Whether you knew this or not, you dragged the time. So
I just went.
I don't want you to be self-conscious and think about it now because you did it right the first time.
Okay.
Just do it how you did.
Do it again. Do it on purpose. Okay.
Now that will change, obviously, if you have a T-joint and doing a fillet weld, because you're going to go in. You're not going to go in at a 90 at either one. You're going to go right in at a 45.
Okay.
But you're going to still clock it back 10
or 15
and drag it back.
Okay.
If you could remember all of that,
I'll try.
Let's do another one.
Okay.
And see how this weld turns out.
Okay, let's slow down. Get my angle to 90 and then pull back 10 or 15. I've got no nozzle on here now, so I can see what I'm doing. I'm dragging and watching the puddle to make sure I have a nice puddle forming, and that's going to help me determine speed, right? I'm still seated. My settings are correct now. I think that's it. And 1/2 inch consistently as I go.
Do you want me to throw out 2 other things for you?
Sure. Okay. See how much I
Not
can
to
retain.
pile it on. We're going to have like a whole list of things.
Oh boy, what's he got? He's got toys over here.
All right. I've done a video about these a couple times, and it's a game changer when you're just starting out welding flux core.
Okay.
As you noticed, and how I said, you're going to get spatter with flux core regardless.
Okay.
It's just inevitable. The one issue is when you're starting to weld a lot, that starts to build up on your contact tip. So it will start to build up right here.
Gotcha.
This is all you have to do. It takes a really long time.
Oh, that was tough.
That's it.
Yeah, all right.
You'll still have spatter collect on it, but it just brushes right away.
Okay.
Something to help it not collect on the workpiece, then you get spatter spray.
Better.
This is pretty much, Pam cooking spray.
Okay.
All it is, and I won't, since we already did it there, I'll just do a coat. All you do, spray it like that,
Okay.
and then that will you will still have spatter
Will it
collect,
roll?
but it won't quite roll off like you
Okay.
just waxed your car.
Yeah.
But it will brush off really easily.
Okay, that's cool. That's funny, the settings, because I think I seriously thought that, like, if I'm just doing something on top, I don't need to use very much power here. So I never would have I never would have opened it up and read the instructions. That's really what I'm saying. So, oh well. All right, here we go. I'm gonna try to remember all the things I just learned. Okay.
Nice.
Better.
Cleaning it up with just a wire brush, and I would say I cannot believe the difference between these 3 welds. Your very first one, yep, you knew it wasn't that great. We worked on just a couple things, and the second one actually wasn't too bad, just probably a little too small. And Nils, take a look at this. That is an awesome looking weld right there. It just goes to show, you know, changing a couple of those little things really can make that big of a difference.
I agree. Honestly, I was skeptical that I would get as far as we got today in the shorter period of time that we had. Because, I mean, yeah, that's big improvement and great teaching. So thank you.
As mentioned before, I built upon Nils' video, so he does the, I guess, more in-depth, and he goes into more of how he went from this to this with the cheap $99 welder. So by all means, go check it out. Thanks for
Jeff.
watching. Yeah, thanks, Nils. We'll see you next time.